Hello and welcome back to Block of the Week. And today, don't know if you could really class it as a full episode or a bonus episode.
More of a bonus
But
episode.
yeah, more of a bonus episode since it's gonna be a small chat but an important chat between
Yeah.
me and my co-host, Kean.
Keen, baby.
And
Today we're
yeah,
going to be taking off with a chat about mental health. The
yeah,
reason we don't have guests this episode is obviously because it's a more serious episode. We don't want it crowded by jokes or more things. Obviously, comedy is a part in this, to dealing with it, explaining things. But you don't want it clouded out. You don't want the messages clouded out. So it's just going to be me and Kate in this episode, which we haven't had in a while. So.
yeah. And by in a while you mean we haven't had full up.
At all, yeah, yeah. We
Yeah,
had some original prototype episodes, but
oh, yeah, those aren't even
the
those
back
aren't
of
even by
CCA,
ourselves. Yeah, yeah, man, back at CCA. Yeah, no. And by the way, I know you're probably thinking, oh, another mental health speech. This one isn't actually probably gonna be like the others. This one's gonna be nitty gritty. Like, as in, there's not gonna be any kind of bubble around it. Not like, when
yeah,
you go
no
into
cliche
school.
protection.
Yeah, when you go into school and
Not
you
that
get
we're going
that
to be hitting
shit.
it too hard and say, shut the fuck up, get over yourself, you little
Oh, no,
bitch.
no,
You're not
no.
having
Complete
anxiety.
opposite.
Nothing like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, no, complete opposite.
it's just the
But it's like,
realness, basically.
yeah. No, this is gonna be like, yeah, like there's not gonna be any punches held. Like you're gonna
Yeah,
you're gonna hear what it's actually like and not filtered down.
and of
Um.
course, don't take direct advice from us. Take
Oh
it from a
yeah,
trusted adult. We are ass teenagers.
yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, yeah,
chances are we don't know about the first thing about what we're talking about, but if you need something to listen to
yeah.
understand things, or just someone to talk to, even DM us at the official Blog of the Week Instagram. We'll be happy to talk.
Oh yeah. And say for instance, yeah, this is like if you want like an inside kind of view, if
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
someone that is kind of going through this,
From our
if you kind of,
experience,
yeah, if you want like kind of an advice, not like an advice, but if you
expert
want kind
advice,
of
go
a,
to an adult.
yeah, if
Vice
you want an
versa.
expert advice, go to an adult. But if you want some kind of chill out, kind of not really serious, not serious, but like not really proper professional advice and kind of in the actual mindset and not all high up and all that, and you just want to listen to it and be anonymous, this is where you've come from. This is where you come to. So I'm gonna be, yeah. This episode is gonna be probably mainly. And Keen's gonna be chiming in, but it's gonna be mainly about
Yeah, of
me
course.
because yeah,
You've had the most experience with it, of
yeah,
course. Like
yeah. I've nearly got
obviously,
the
I've had my
platinum.
own ups and downs. We
Oh
all,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But
I've nearly got the
oh,
platinum.
the
Yeah, no.
platinum trophy.
Yeah, platinum trophy for mental health. Uh,
Yeah,
I've got like halfway through the last achievement I need. So in the words of Philip DeFranco, let's just jump into it. So I'll explain why we're kind of not qualified, but like we have, well, yeah, we have some sort of grounds to talk about it. I'd say half the people I know probably have went through went through or are still going through some sort of mental health struggles, myself included. Um, it's it's definitely scary, especially knowing you have a friend who is going through something like that, and it's weird, not weird, but it's like it's hard to think about. It's awful seeing the people who you're really good, go through this kind of stuff because it's genuinely one of the worst things you can do because it's not like a broken arm. You can't just put a cast on it and fix it. Like you can't just
yeah.
you have
Especially
to.
at our age, it's difficult to help people when you don't have the right
Oh yeah,
resources or
definitely.
the
Like
right mindset to help them. Especially if you're going through something yourself and you're trying to help somebody, you're just grasping at straws, basically. And not in a bad way. You're trying your best, but that's
oh
the
yeah,
point. You
yeah.
should
No, I can
talk to an
understand.
adult
Like
or
yeah,
another
we
professional.
both we like yeah. If you're in that situation where you're that friend who's trying to help the person through, like I've been in that situation. I've been both kind of roles. Like it's awful. You're sitting there, you don't know what to do, And even though I've had first-hand experience with it, talking to someone about it makes me feel like I have no sort of experience at all, and I'm hearing it for the first
Yeah.
time. It's awful. It's
And even
genuinely.
if you think, yeah, even if you think you're saying the right things and you think that you're guiding them away from bad decisions or self harm, even, you should still tell them, advise them to tell somebody professional,
Oh yeah, yeah,
even if
definitely.
it's nothing too serious.
Yeah, no, even if they're thinking, man, I've kind of had a bad kind of day. Like not a bad kind of day, but like yeah, I'm kind of going through a bad kind of patch. Still say it to someone. It's
Yeah,
even though it's not that significant. I'll tell you one thing: small things snowball into bigger things.
yeah,
So if there's one kind of small piece of advice out of the probably many you'll get from us today. Number one, don't let it get into turn into a big thing. Make sure it's caught early enough and you can kind of tackle it as you go. Genuinely, the biggest good bit of advice I've got over a while. Don't let it build up. If you keep it at a low and just kind of keep the maintenance checked in well enough, you will. No, you won't be fine, but you'll be a lot better than bottling it up. Because bottling it up
yeah,
does basically nothing.
yeah, of course.
It just makes it all worse down the long end.
And it may sound like we're reading this off the crisis pamphlet, but it's all true. All the stuff you've seen, it's not just a like it's not all just the same for the sake of copy and pasting and saying that all these things will always help, but they will. Like they've been
Oh, no.
proven to help. They've definitely helped. It's not lab research. It's people's experiences.
Yeah,
If you talk,
it's
you're better off with it.
yeah, but 100% at the same time on the under end of the spectrum, you can't expect to just say some words to someone and then you'll be 100% fine. There's
Yeah,
other
yeah.
things
It's a
to it.
process.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like for example, like I've been suffering with depression, well, undiagnosed depression. Well, it's been diagnosed now, but they've expected this undiagnosed to go on since about fourth class, and then it became like suicidal depression since uh, around the start of 20 no or mid to late 2019, and it's number one, it's awful to go through. I wouldn't wish it on
Mm.
anybody. And number two, yeah, it's like even though yeah I was talking to two people every day in when I was in the hospital, and that did nothing. Like it, you have to do other things. Like yeah, my condition probably wouldn't be as bad as maybe like if you're going through like a small patch, but maybe you do have a friend who's like me, but you don't want to reach out in fear of oh they probably won't like me because they said not to tell anyone. Firstly, that's
Yeah,
bullshit. If they're your real friends, they will still like you. That's
yeah,
like on, because it will all work out in the better. And like yeah, when I told my parents, they were completely fine. They were kind of like shocked, not like shocked as in a bad way. They were like oh like they were shocked at
yeah.
how well I was able to mask it. But
Mm-hmm.
now
Yeah,
they're like
understandable.
really supportive and they're really kind of like yeah it's okay like they're basically every time I'm like hey can I just talk about something real quick, can I have a quick word, I'm not
Yeah.
like feeling the best, they'll drop anything, boom, done.
And even if you
It's
don't have the best, like most supportive parents or best friends who don't, like your friends who just like, oh yeah, I hope you're doing okay, and then they leave you for weeks without even asking. Like that's all right. There's resources like all over the world for every nation in the world basically. You can contact if you're feeling this way. Like you're not
yeah,
alone basically.
yeah, yeah, I know as well, yeah, that's a cliche phrase as well, you are not alone, but it's true.
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
You
yeah
can.
it's really true. Like yeah, if like say for instance you're an orphan with no friends. You take like you think, oh, you don't have anyone. No, like you could have any sort of like there's a bunch of hotlines that you can go to.
Yeah,
Uh,
completely. We'll link a few in the comments actually, if
yeah,
this is
yeah,
what you're
there's
looking
yeah, yeah. Barnardos is one of them. Crisis
at.
hotline, crisis text line, and a lot of them aren't even call. Like a lot of them have switched
Yeah,
away
you
from
can
just
text
call.
there.
Yeah, now there's also text as well, which is amazing because a lot of people do have that fear. Especially, I originally had that fear was actually just speaking out, and it's a lot easier for me, and I'd say for a lot of other people, to just write it down
Yeah,
and then say it, like send it to someone, because you
and you're
don't
not
actually have to
stupid for
properly say
telling
it.
people. Like nobody's
Oh,
gonna
stop.
care. You're stupid. We don't care. Shut up. Like
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen. This isn't a movie or something like that. Like I hate to
yeah,
like disrespect it like that, but like it's really not. You can tell people they'll be
yeah,
supportive at least, and if they're not, then tell the professionals and the people on the crisis hotlines. Like they will understand. They are trained for that. They
yeah.
know what you're going through.
This is their job. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, um, like their job is to like
yeah,
their job is to listen. So you may as well like tell them stuff. Like they're doing their job, you may as well do yours by telling them what's going on. Um,
yeah,
yeah, no, it's very easy, especially it's very easy to just watch people kind of it slips under the cracks very often. It goes undetected. It's the hardest part for me with kind of keeping up the mask was faking a smile because I've always kind of been that like happy bubbly kind of person. Everyone kind of knows me, not like knows me
yeah.
as it, but like everyone kind of like, oh yeah, he's
Associate you with.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
you're just a
for
friend.
example, yeah, we were talking we had to like so, stuff about the school. Principal had to get in contact. The principal said, "I've seen him on the corridors how many times, and I wouldn't even have batted an eye about that." Like it just goes to show
Yeah, some
keeping
people hide it so well. It's just
yeah, it's
and some
amazing,
people.
and yeah, as well. Along with how easy people are to hide it, that kind of blends in with this how common it can be. It's
Yeah,
really common.
yeah.
Like
Some
I'd
people
say,
get let lost in like their own heads of like they just always fake smile and they don't tell anybody. They just like that's the routine for them. They
yeah,
just give up on trying to reach out or giving signs to
yeah,
people because they just think nobody cares really.
yeah. And yeah, like it's really common. I'd say
Yeah,
um the big well yeah my kind of personal yeah, one of my favorite things and what like my ideal dream like not fantasy but like my dream kind of job
they
to be doing in the future would be stand-up comedy, and it's very prominent in stand-up comedy, just especially with like trauma in general.
yeah,
It's extremely common. It's almost like so many people had it. I've tried getting a specific statistic of how many like famous stand-up comedians have depression or have went through all that, but it's mad. It's like you can't put a number on it. It's like especially just not even just depression, but like trauma in general or anything got to do with that kind of
that
layout.
field of
Yeah, that kind of field, yeah, of just bad experiences. It's insanely common. And I'd say that's kind of the reason why lots of depressed people as well go into stand up is number one, so they can hide, like, oh, I'm happy. Why would I be sad on the inside? And number two as
maybe
well
they're in
is,
comedy.
yeah, yeah. And then number two as well is that so other people can laugh so they don't have to go through it too. Like,
Yeah,
because, yeah, my goal every day was wake up, not even thinking about myself, just like, okay, yep, I'm just gonna go make my friends laugh, and that's what I want to do. That
yeah,
was my
almost
top priority.
sacrificing your own mental
Yeah,
health
yeah,
just to
basically, yeah, just kind of like,
just to
okay,
make sure somebody else's day doesn't end up like yours.
oh yeah,
Which shouldn't be the
definitely,
case. You all deserve you
yeah,
all deserve the same lives and the best treatment
yeah.
from everybody.
You all deserve the same amount of fucking shite days as each other, you know. How it is.
Yeah,
Yeah. No. It's very big, and then just as well, the big thing is no matter how like if it gets to the point where it's like serious to the point of like self harm or some like or beyond self harm, you no matter what your friend says, like if they're considering it, if they're planning on doing it, anything, and they're telling you, you gotta take action because they could be they could be gone in the next hour, 24 hours. They could like just disappear, and I don't think you would want that. And yeah, maybe it wouldn't be the best that your friend's trust with you was a bit betrayed. Because I'd say you'd prefer to have their trust a bit betrayed rather than just being not here with you.
Yeah, and a lot of people earlier, like earlier, you said that a lot of friends, if their friend tells them to leave them alone and they don't want any help from you, to still be there for them. Don't just give up on them. Don't just like still hang on the sidelines just in case they need help in future, because
Yeah.
they putting up a wall blocking you out so they can keep it to themselves and not bother you. Because a lot of people do that, from what I've seen anyway, and stories I've heard. A lot of people
Oh
do
yeah,
that trying
yeah.
to
No,
bother
it
other
is.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what you
Personal
call it.
experience. I just hate number
So just
one.
stand on the
Yeah.
sidelines, basically. Be there for
Yeah.
them.
I mean, it's already bad enough when like you've been fucking diagnosed with social anxiety and then severe anxiety in general. And then a new little spanner in the works goes on and you're too afraid to ask anybody or like say being like, hey, and you just, yeah, it's awful bothering people. Like,
Yeah,
it's, you just feel inconvenient. You just feel out of the way. You feel like you're bringing something up. That's just, oh, it's
yeah,
annoying. But not all of the mental health talk does have to be bad in a way. Like, now I'm on medication and they're amazing. Like they've done what it's promised to do, and now I'm a lot better than what I was a couple of months ago. It's it's mad, and I'd say like if your case is a bit milder, you won't like they're not going to be rushing out to you to put you on medication just because you're having a couple of bad days. But if you are going through something like you are having bad kind of times and you don't want to reach out, there are still some things that you can do, some like activities that you can get involved in that will definitely help and will benefit you in the long run. And like some stuff will be just to calm you down, to clear your head, stuff that exercise is a big one. And for me, it's very unique what kind of like clears your head and kind of relaxes you. But for me, one really unique one and one really weird one that's kind of come up recently is I really enjoy power washing. Just like stuff in general.
oh
Just
yeah,
it's just satisfying. It,
yeah,
trust me. If you've never went and just looked at power washing videos, you have to because it's so nice to
Jeez, I
look
never
at.
thought of that actually.
Yeah, no,
But
it's actually really nice. There's
yeah, it
stuff
sounds
everywhere
good.
about it. Yeah, no,
But
yeah. Do you have anything in particular, Keen, that you like to do to just like calm down, ease the mind? I know you're a big fan of the
probably
cup of tea for maybe relaxation, you know,
I'd
for
cup of
something to
tea
do.
big time
Yeah,
music, you know. Bit of
yeah,
deep
yeah, yeah,
R&B.
yeah. Oh, no,
But it's
yeah,
different for
music as
everybody,
well, very
obviously.
good. Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah,
some
no,
people
like
like doing exercise, quotes, poetry, writing, what listening to music, watching films, especially Ghibli films, like we mentioned in our film episode.
yeah,
They're
especially because they're
calming, you
all
know,
just
beautiful.
love and happy and
Yeah,
hugging. Anyway,
wholesome 100, just wholesome 100, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Keanu Reeves,
Just
Wholesome
joking.
100, Chungus
and
100.
act
I
and yeah,
mean,
just all these activities, especially during coronavirus lockdown. You can there's a lot you can still do. Go walking. I find walking during lockdown is the best thing. I know you aren't the biggest fan of walking, but what you call it, but I love a good walk. You know, it's like a
yeah.
refresh,
So
basically.
I can appreciate a good walk every now and again.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like no, because it's like yeah, I wouldn't mind. It's just yeah, sometimes I'm in the mood for one, and then sometimes it's like I don't really know, you know.
yeah, yeah,
It's hard, like yeah, but definitely yeah, walking and just being in nature in general is very good. It's like really
yeah.
nice.
And obviously
I
these
enjoy
things
it a lot.
they're for everybody. Like what you call it, what you call it. Just me with like not that like a simple mental health, basically. You know, like general normal. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like
Hmm.
it's just
Yeah,
happy, content. What you call it? Like these things still work. These things still calm. If I'm mad or I'm frustrated with work or something like that, you know, it works for
yeah,
everybody really. It's not just if you're stuck in a hard place. You know, it's not just if you have serious mental health. If you're stuck inside your head, you know, it works for everybody really. and it's
Yeah.
encouraged to do anything like that. And it may seem stupid because you hear this all the time, go do what you like and whatever, but it really does help. And you might be discouraged, especially if your mental health is bad, but it does work. It does, at least in my
Yeah.
experience.
Now, I will be honest though. There is some kind of point where, especially with depression, I remember, yeah, it's like you're just kind of, it's like just life is like eating food, and you have all these nice, lovely foods, but then depression kind of makes every food taste like mashed potato,
Yeah, you
and
only eat
then
the
you're
mashed
like,
potato basically. Yeah, that completely.
yeah,
I
no,
agree
it
with that.
just, yeah, it's like you could eat a chocolate bar and still it would taste like mashed potato. It's
Yeah,
like you could try every different thing and it would still taste like mashed
yeah, that's
potato.
the difficult
And
part with
then,
like encouragement
yeah,
and motivation, which is you
yeah,
can't
and
just tell somebody, "Oh, get over it, just go watch the thing, you'll be
or
great."
yeah, or like, oh, do what you love. Because I
Yeah, yeah,
guarantee you, especially in my kind of thing, as soon as I started feeling down, the things I turned to were the things I love. But
yeah.
that didn't do anything.
Obviously, when in a case like actual diagnosed depression, yeah, I feel the best way or the best thing I feel to do is support the person and ease them back towards the things they love and the things they like, or to help them discover new things maybe that'll make them happy. It
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
won't
that's.
cure your depression or anything like that. And
Oh,
obviously,
stop.
don't take any of this and say, "Oh, well, I like baking. I guess I'll do baking and it'll cure my depression." Like, I hope
Yeah,
that's a given, but we're just
yeah,
giving
yeah,
advice on how you can ease your mental health, and
yeah,
it can somehow help you in our experience.
yeah. It's like, yeah, it's yeah. You said it right. Like, don't expect, like, the thing you love, as soon as you start doing it, don't expect to be the miracle cure. There's no such thing as a miracle cure. If it says it's a
Yeah,
miracle cure, it's a lie, especially when it comes to mental health. Nothing will help it in 24 hours. That is
yeah,
a given as well. Like, if you find something that will completely get rid of your mental health struggles in 24 hours, I will, like, give you mm, millions of euro, because I will guarantee you there's nothing out there. If you are
it's
going
really
through
just
something, yeah,
yeah,
it's not gonna be an overnight process. You're
yeah,
gonna have to put up with it.
yeah. It's
Like,
really just a long process, which might be discouraging, but it is worth it in the end.
yeah,
Like getting
it
that help
is.
and getting
It's
more set.
it's yeah, it's very hard just kind of dealing with it, especially like in my kind of case. I was being put on stuff, but I'm a very impatient person and a very hyperactive person, if you couldn't tell by all of the Block of the Week episodes. And yeah, it's mad. I was just sitting there kind of like, oh, why isn't it starting to kick in? Why isn't it starting to kick in? I was getting annoyed. I was like, oh, this is never gonna work. And then it just kind of set back in. But now they're working fine. So all I need to do is give it a bit of time, give it a bit of patience. Like, it's
Definitely, yeah.
amazing. Yeah, time is like, people also say with alcohol, time is the biggest helper. If you want to,
Yeah.
when drunk, you
And you
can't
know
do
how
anything else except
discouraging that
time.
is, like having to wait, especially if you're impatient. Like I think to myself that I'm very patient. I'll wait for things. But
Yeah,
if something takes too long, obviously I'm gonna get frustrated and everything like that. But
yeah.
it's really just, especially for people helping people, just having that support and having people by your side the whole time. I know you had your parents beside you, Kate, and you had your friends, and
Oh
that's an
yeah,
important step,
yeah.
obviously.
Yeah,
So
especially you as well. I gotta give you a big kind of top for it, because everything you said in this episode, especially with advice, you did to me. Because I'll like, I
of course,
respect
you're
you
human.
highly. Yeah, no, but like, I was like, I was out of hospital. I was doing fine. Medication was kind of coming in. I was kind of settling back to normal. Still, every second day, every third day, every fourth day, as it gradually went on, it would always been, I got a text from you saying, "Oh, how are you?" Like, that's like amazing. Like, it was mad. I've never seen that kind of constant checkup. It was mad. Like, the only kind of thing I faced with that was in the hospital. when there was people who were being paid to ask me if I was alright.
Yeah,
Like it's completely different, and I gotta say thank you so much for that. Like
of course.
it does it, yeah, it like you're not able to actually realize, but it's especially now. It's really good having people that care about you. Like it's really nice to just actually get proper solid confirmation and
Of
concrete evidence because it is amazing to hear.
course, you've done so much for me that obviously I had to repay. You know what I mean? Like just being my
Yeah, yeah,
friend,
no,
like
no,
just
I get
being
what you
there.
mean.
You know?
I get you. Yeah,
Obviously, a lot of people out there probably don't have as close friends, maybe people that care that much, which is terrible, obviously.
yeah,
But there is hotlines, and obviously those doctors you talk about who are getting paid, they still do care.
yeah,
Maybe not as much as a friend or family, but they do care about you, and you should take that care.
yeah, definitely.
Family members, uh, friends, just try your best to find somebody who will support you and isn't just there for the attention of, oh look, I helped my friend away from suicide, am I amazing? Someone like that, someone who actually cares.
Yeah,
Basically, you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah. What's it
Uh,
called? Yeah, definitely. Especially if you have access to those resources, take it. If you can get access to therapy sessions and you mightn't even need them, like you might be fine, still go to them.
Definitely.
Like
If they're
it's
daunting as well, like therapy is
oh
very daunting for a lot of people,
yeah,
especially if you're in that
it's
kind of situation. You
yeah.
think you'll be questioned and be like, why do you feel like this? It's stupid, but no. They're
Oh no, no.
professionals, they're there to help
It's
or
it's
listen
it's
to
a
you.
complete opposite. I've went to
Professional listeners, basically.
yeah, yeah. I've went to multiple kind of therapy courses. I think I've went to hang on a second. I do maths. One, two, three. I think three or four different kind of counseling parts, and
And
three or
how
four
did you
different
find them?
counseling places. Every time was better than the last. It was just getting more and more comfortable, and it's really reassuring just hearing what's it called, just hearing like, oh, well, how are you feeling? It's really nice when you kind of get to learn, like get to know them, not know them, but like, you kind
Yeah,
of
they dealt
understand
with it
that they
before.
actually
They
they
let you
yeah
know
they do care about you. It's really
you're not
good. They're
alone.
not, yeah, they're not paid. They're not just paid to be thing. They're not just paid to be listening to you. They actually kind of do care about you, which is amazing. It's really good.
Yeah, like
Uh,
it's good to get professionals like that as well because a lot of them could just be there for the quick paycheck, the quick money off you. Listen and go,
oh
oh
yeah,
yes, well you should try the medication or something like that. Like people who actually listen and care, they're the
yeah,
very best.
yeah.
Listening is basically just
It's
amazing.
yeah,
If you are somebody who listens to your friend and offers help, then bravo to you. Clap clap.
yeah, definitely. Easily, I got like, if you are one of those friends that Keane's kind of been talking about, like doing everything, this, that, and the other, bravo, hats off to you. You are doing as much as you can. If you are think you can, you should be doing more. Genuinely, please. I know it's really hard to do. It's really easy for me to just say don't think like that. I get what you mean, but please, you're doing more than enough and more than most people will. So
Yeah,
pride yourself on that. Give yourself
most people
that.
will bat an eye, say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. What can I do to help?" and leave it at that. But you're
Yeah,
the top dog.
yeah. I mean, at the same time, there isn't if you're not the closest maybe with them,
Yeah,
or you don't know how to deal with it. It's it's all right and not like as long as you don't like is you still kind of keep in touch with them. I mean, a little like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear about how you're feeling. Are you all right? Do you need anything? That kind of does work at the same time. It's nice
yeah.
because then you're not making the other person feel like you're offloading a bunch of stuff on them and just making them feel good in general and feel like, oh, okay, I have a place to go to now. Because
And bravo as well
sometimes
for
not
the
even.
person actually opening up. So, yeah, sorry to
Oh
interrupt you
yeah,
there, but bravo
yeah,
to the
no,
person
no, no.
actually opening up and letting others
Yeah.
through and
Oh yeah.
choose.
If you're
Like
if you're
very brave.
if you've opened up before like about anything, especially with this kind of serious of a topic, I'll commend you. It took me I'm sometimes a very open person, and it still took me, I'd say, wait, it took me not 3 months, it took me 4 years. So I mean, if you're having it and then coming out with
The
it,
quicker you
maybe,
share it, the quicker you can get better, and you can try your best to
yeah,
move on and ease
yeah,
yourself
which
back into
is really important.
a
Just
big step. Yeah,
trying
big
to
step.
pick up the pieces as you go and move on with it. But if you haven't told anyone and it's been a while, don't worry about it. It's still there's always time to change. There's always time to
Yeah,
get better. And if you haven't, like, if you're still considering on telling anybody, like, oh, should I do it or should I not, you should, but don't push yourself to. Make sure you're
yeah.
comfortable enough.
You're in your own
So
comfort zone. You're not breaking your limits.
yeah, yeah, because there's no worse thing forcing yourself to do something that you don't really want to do.
And obviously, a big thing right now is what you call it. Not a big thing right now, but the big thing we talk about is big mental health, like depression, suicidal thoughts. Which is very important. Which you should always talk to someone. But even bad days, like you got a lot of homework one day, or you're very stressed. You got a bad test, anything like that. Maybe a bad day at work. Boss was giving out to you or something. It's still really important to talk to somebody about that. Your friend, or family, or anybody.
Yeah, like we're kind of jumping to extremes, but that's because like I've kind of been living with the extremes. I'm not really too like, yeah, I know what it feels like, but it's like probably be true some
Yeah,
kind
go on,
of
sorry.
tinted vision. Yeah, no, at the same time, while it's really important to talk about serious things, it's also as important to talk about little things.
Yeah,
It's as well the small things that turn into little things, because it's like, yeah, it's really easy to just start getting annoyed about things, and
the
it's really
snowballing
good when
effect
you
we
can,
talked about earlier.
yeah, it's really good to just let it off your chest and just tell someone,
Over a
and
cup of tea,
it's yeah,
Hayden's famous cuppa.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, it's really good to tell someone, no matter how big or small the problem is. Still, just tell someone that will listen, and trust me, you'll be a lot better off in the long run. So, is there anything else you want to touch on that's major?
No, basically the main thing that overlaps this whole thing. This is our opinion, obviously, and this is our experiences. So it still is important that you take in this and you take in our advice for easing yourself back into an easier state of mental health. But also to listen to professionals. There's one podcast called Magic Minds. I know is based in Dublin. He's met with a lot of mental health professionals. A lot of his work is based on mental health. So you could go visit his podcast if you wanted get more in depth with actual professional people and adults. Definitely talk to
Yeah,
adults and talk to professionals. And don't take full advice from this episode. I'll leave some crisis hotline numbers in the comments to visit if you are feeling and just if you need to talk to somebody anyway. And our DMs are always open at official block of the week on Instagram and our email. So
yeah. If you
yeah,
if you have like if you want to kind of
yeah, and it's
if you
completely
want
face to
some
face on our
more kind of
Instagram. So
yeah, if you want some more kind of personal experience maybe, or you still just want some advice in general, just to
yeah,
kind of hear, it's it's really good to have that level of advice open and available to you. So if it is something that is important to you, please, like, maybe, yeah, you're like, oh, should I actually, like, should I not be DMing one of my friends rather than just some random podcast account?
yeah.
Probably, but like, ah, well,
If you
still,
don't have
it's
people to talk
yeah,
to,
yeah. If you
and
don't
even
have the
if you
outlet,
do,
or maybe you want some
honestly,
advice, like say for instance, you have a friend and you're completely blindsided to it, like oh, like someone's going, like your friend is going through something, and you're like, oh, feck, I don't know what to do in this situation. Maybe like one of us
hit
could
us up.
give some
We're your boys.
advice. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. We could give some advice, Especially if it's something on the more serious end of scale, because I'm more familiar with that rather than just the kind of lighter end of things. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I would
Okay.
say
Well, thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you learned something or just
yeah,
enjoyed listening, basically.
and
Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah. Last kind of thing. If there's a couple of things to take away from the end of this video, well, podcast. Number one, take this all with a grain of salt because we are not
Yeah, of
professionals.
course. Yeah.
Number two, talking is very good, but it won't be the miracle
Mm-hmm.
cure. Number
Yeah.
three, find an activity you do that will be able to relax and calm you down. And number four, make sure that you have outlet. Well, just kind of keep in contact with friends, be a good friend,
Yeah.
and yeah, number five, no matter how small or how big you think your issue is, still tell someone.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Of
hard,
course.
but still tell someone. And yeah, that's it. Those are the
Yeah.
5 little points that you should just kind of take away from this video
Thank
podcast.
you, David, for your
Fuck.
thoughts and sharing.
No, no
Yeah,
problem.
that was
And
it was a
yeah,
very
thank you
important
for
point.
your advice
Of
as
course.
well.
And yeah,
Yeah,
that just about wraps up the episode. Thank you all for listening,
yeah,
and thanks for letting us talk about this, having an outlet.
yeah. Thanks
If
for.
you'd like to see more like this about, um, maybe you'd like to see more about mindfulness or just getting better mental health, we can try give more advice if you like on the Instagram or another episode maybe in future.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Maybe
just
it's
DM
something
us
to
for
look
anything
into.
like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, night
So
night. I'm gonna
thank
go
you.
to bed now because it's 1 a.m.
Yeah. Holy fuck, I'm
Night night.
knackered.
I've got a French
Shit.
CDA to do so. Okay,
Oh,
night night.
same. No, man.
Good night,
Take it
kisses.
easy.